Our guest today, we're here with...
Yeah, I'm Brent Bennett from Older Home Specialists, Sacramento, California. You can find us at olderhomespecialists.net or olderhomespecialist.com.
You know, we've been trying to get established with some contractors in California because you would not believe how many people are calling. Sounds like you do just about anything that has to do with the older home.
What I primarily focus on is designing and installing drainage systems and irrigation systems.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I know we shipped an order of pipe out to you today. I don't know how many days it's going to take them to get down to California, but you know, I just want to say thanks for joining, you know, the French Drain Man team. I know you're going to love the pipe. I know you're going to love the product. And, you know, I wanted you to speak to the people of your area regarding some of the regulations that you may be facing as far as the PVC pipe versus corrugated, because it was interesting to hear what some of the motivations are. You're going to have some real concerns, it sounds like, there in California real soon.
Yeah, at the end of this year, they're actually set to mandate some more regulations, and they could do anything from nothing at all to completely banning it or something in between. But as you know, it's just a matter of time before changes have to be made. And the thing about PVC pipe is it contains chemicals that are harmful to plants and animals. And the less of it that we can use, the better off we are, there's no doubt. So that's one thing that I find interesting about your product is the HDPE does not contain those chemicals. And so that's, you know, aside of the fact of, you know, how superior it is regarding the flow and regarding the strength of it as well.
We made an extra heavy duty pipe that you won't find anywhere else. It's made just for yard drains. It's spec'd for that. We had to make it thicker so that you can run over it with real heavy zero-turn lawnmowers. It could see the stress of even a car or vehicle driving over it. We are right now making it out of virgin HDPE. And I'm not saying there's anything bad about recycled HDPE. It's just, I'm not convinced that they have the additives completely figured out. I've been reading about the poisoning of the environment since 2007 is how far, you know, some of the articles go back. And the PVC manufacturers, they've released a lot of information to defend their product and what it is they're doing. But when the environmentalists did their testing, that's the stuff that's coming back negative.
Yeah, that's correct. And, you know, California is always on the leading edge of trying to pave the way for the rest of the country or the world to watch. So I think anybody that is wise is going to look at this product, realize what a good product it is, and the benefits of moving forward with it.
Well, the flow rate's fine. You're not gonna have any issues with the flow rate. People think because there's the ridges and valleys in corrugated pipe that you lose, you know, some of the area that the pipe displaces. That's not true. They actually have already thought about that. So they don't consider those ridges and valleys part of the displacement. From the top of the ridges, and you know, they measured that for their full displacement. So it actually has a higher volume. They realize there's some turbulence when you have, you know, the rougher surface. There's a little bit of turbulence, but it's that center flow that stays the same. Now there's a fine line from having some turbulence to having too much turbulence, and now too much turbulence will cause the tumbling of water through the entire pipe, and that of course would really restrict, you know, the amount of water that you're going to be able to flow.
Nice, agreed. I've done a lot of research on the ADS pipe and the corrugated pipe as well, and I've found the same thing. A lot of people insist that the PVC pipe for some reason is better, but quite honestly, and you know, with working with older homes, when you're installing a drainage system, everybody knows the drain pipe is the main pipe, and it has to be graded downstream in order to work correctly. So if it's not, then, you know, it's going to be problematic.
You know, daylighting, wherever you take the pipe out to, is key. A lot of people, they'll show failure, but they won't take you to the discharge. And there's a reason for that. When you watch these YouTube videos and they're showing failure, but they can't show you where it discharges, it's usually because the grass grew over the discharge end vegetation, something happened at the discharge end, and there's no way for the system to discharge. So that's why it's going to fail.
Yeah, we just did a job last week. A lot of our jobs are redos. I would say probably 60 to 70% are redos that contractors have done in the last 5 years. And first of all, it's important to diagnose the property and evaluate what's going to be the best system, because not every lot is going to be the same. And so if you don't set up a correct system as far as the grading going downstream and such, it's going to be problematic. We just redid a job where they thought for some reason that they could just, well, it was two different parts to the system. One of them was a French drain that was, all they did was sleeve a 3-inch ADS pipe, and then they literally threw mud and gravel right over it. And when I dug it up, it was just apparent that, that the mud was going, after 8 months, the mud was going into the pipe, clogging it already. The pipe was full. And so I've looked at your installation process, and I have to say, it's impeccable. It's the burrito wrap and the prepping the trench and then using 2, 3, 4 pipes. I mean, it's a superior way to install it.
I tell all the contractors that I speak with, there's 4 key elements to a good French drain. And if you do these 4 things, you're going to have success. You can't, miss. But one of the things, so many years guys just trenched and just put 1 pipe down inside. That went on for a lot of years. So the more stone or just the wider the trench, whether you're using the corrugated pipe mixed with stone, but the better the French drain if you have a nice wide trench with a lot of aggregate and pipe. We found that to be the leading reason why we were going to houses with drains that were only a few years old and they were failed. That, and then they wouldn't put the fabric in. That's huge. There's so many different fabrics on the market. If you're using a non-woven geotextile fabric that's been punched, you're going to be fine. We have ours double punched to increase the flow rate a little bit. If you put sand, and I encourage this, I know you get really hot in California, so you got to really set your clients up right so that the grass don't die on top of these drains. So you probably need to leave, I imagine 4 inches of good topsoil, and turf.
Yeah, correct. That's right. And I learn a lot from your videos. If anybody thinks that they know everything, honestly, they don't. At that point, they're a little bit useless because they're refusing to learn anything. And since we're in times that are always changing, if we're not staying ahead of the game, then we're going to be behind. And so I learn a lot from your videos. I'll come home and my wife will come in and say, "Oh, great, another drain video."
When you're passionate about your work, that means a lot. And, that speaks volumes to some of the conversation you had with my staff, some of the emails that you've exchanged. You're not trying to cut corners. You're trying to give your clients quality. That's what you're known for. And you're like me. You don't want to go back to that job. If you do, it's for additional work because they were so happy with the work that you did for them.
Agreed. And another thing that I would say is what's most important to me, not only doing the job the best that I can, no shortcuts, using the best materials, but treating everybody like family. And I'll go to houses where I might meet with a client where they might have an idea what they want. And, I'll guide them in the direction, even if it's away from me, even if it's away from the job, because I'm treating everybody the way that I would want to be treated. And if you do that, I mean, it's not just about getting a paycheck. We're doing a service and we're meeting people, and, there's the human factor that's involved, so that's what's important to me as well.
I can say this, and I think you're cut from this cloth, I can tell. I'm not happy if the customer's not happy. I'm not happy if the people that work with me here at French Drain Man are not happy. I mean, so leadership comes from the top, and creating a great environment where everybody's happy, they show up, they want to be there doing their job because they enjoy it. You make it so. And, you can't help but to have a really good outcome when you prescribe and subscribe that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a learning curve. It wasn't always like that for me in the beginning, but it's absolutely what I've evolved into.
Well, we're glad to have you underneath the French Drain Man banner. I mean, we're going to, here at the corporate office, They take so many calls from all over the United States, and in your area, we have been getting a lot of calls the past couple of years because you guys have been unusually wet these past 2 years.
That's correct. Yeah, the sky will open up and drop 2 inches of rain in a heartbeat, and sometimes it's necessary to. Well, I watched your videos about the sumps and stuff. You're absolutely correct. Those little landscaper sumps, they're garbage. They're for nothing. They're not worth anything at all. Yeah, the larger the area that you have, that's why I found it interesting about your lift stations that you invented and that you are manufacturing, because a couple things about that is not only do they hold a larger amount of water, but the water is dispersed in the sump in a longer period, in a longer area, which anybody knows that those sumps, depending on if they get any water on them underneath them, they'll push up right out of the ground with the pipe and everything. They'll come right out. So when you have the system that you designed, that you're manufacturing, it elongates it, so it gives more terrain to hold that sump in the ground, and then it is going to cycle the pump less times, which is, I thought that was very interesting video.
I did that. I made that out of necessity. And originally it was just for our crew. And then eventually, whatever people seen on the videos, they would call and ask if we can make it and ship it. And next thing you know, the online store was born. Well, we send a lot of things promo when we get somebody that's in an area where we need a guy that we can refer people to, because we're trying to get networked with good contractors all around the country. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what California needs. If there's anything that you guys need, I will not hesitate to make whatever it is you need.
I appreciate it so much. All the videos and the materials, everything. I love to be with like-minded people.
If you found any of this information helpful, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about this installation, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until that next video,